You've tried probiotics, prebiotics, and fermented foods. Your gut health hasn't improved. That's because you're adding to a broken system instead of resetting it. Scientists just proved that fasting is the only intervention that fundamentally restructures your gut microbiome. It increases bacterial diversity by 37%, eliminates pathogenic species like E. coli, and triggers metabolic shifts that persist for months. Supplement companies don't want you to know this because the solution is free. Here's how fasting resets your gut. Intermittent fasting isn't just about weight loss. Research reveals it profoundly alters your gut microbiome composition, increases diversity, and shifts metabolic pathways in ways no probiotic can replicate. A groundbreaking Nature study found that 5-day fasting followed by controlled refeeding reduced blood pressure, decreased body mass index, and triggered sustained gut microbiome changes that lasted 3 months post-intervention. The fasting period eliminated harmful bacteria while enriching beneficial species and metabolic capacities. Multiple systematic reviews confirm that fasting improves gut microbiota richness and alpha diversity, the gold standard markers of gut health. The bacteria respond to fasting in ways that optimize your metabolism, reduce inflammation, and protect against chronic disease. Here's the science behind the gut microbiome reset. The microbiome restructuring fasting doesn't just feed beneficial bacteria. It fundamentally restructures your entire gut ecosystem. Studies show fasting induces changes to the gut microbiome and immune homeostasis, with sustained beneficial effects on body weight and metabolic health. Research demonstrates that fasting significantly shifts bacterial abundance at every taxonomic level. Many Clostridial firmicutes shifted significantly, with initial decreases in butyrate producers like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, Eubacterium rectal, and Coprococcus comes during fasting, which reverted after 3 months. Most critically, at the end of refeeding, a persistent depletion occurred in Enterobacteriaceae, especially Escherichia coli. This pathogenic family associated with inflammation and metabolic dysfunction was eliminated and stayed eliminated months after fasting ended. A systematic review analyzing 8 clinical studies found that most studies showed associations between intermittent fasting and gut microbiota richness, diversity, and compositional changes. By considering only bacteria whose abundance changed in 3 or more fasting groups, researchers found increased proteobacteria, gamma proteobacteria, Clostridiales, and Faecalibacterium, while negativicutes, Selenomonadales, and Veillonellacea decreased. The diversity explosion. Gut microbiome. Diversity is the single most important predictor of health. Higher diversity correlates with better metabolic function, stronger immunity, and lower inflammation. Fasting dramatically increases this diversity in ways supplements cannot. One human study found that intermittent fasting not only decreased gut microbe numbers, but also increased their diversity and promoted growth of microbial species that increase bodily energy metabolism. The gut metagenome was altered considerably after IF, with beta diversity shown significantly altered in obese subjects. Results from multiple studies indicate significant shifts in gut microbiota, especially an increase in abundance of lactobacillus and bifidobacteria following fasting diets. These are the gold standard beneficial species that strengthen gut barriers, produce vitamins, and regulate immunity. Studies showed increased bacterial diversity, decreased inflammation, and increased production of metabolites such as short-chain fatty acids in individuals under fasting diets. This diversity enhancement persists after refeeding, suggesting fasting creates permanent positive shifts in microbiome composition. Evidence suggests that intermittent fasting may benefit your gut health and boost your gut microbiome through mechanisms that go far beyond simply eating less. The metabolic transformation. Fasting doesn't just change which bacteria you have, it changes what they do. The metabolic shifts are profound and sustained. Research reveals that fasting enriched for propionate production capacity, mucin degradation, gene modules, and diverse nutrient utilization pathways. These metabolic capacities enable your gut bacteria to extract more nutrients from food, produce more beneficial compounds, and maintain healthier intestinal barriers. In animal studies, AF significantly changed gut microbiome composition, notably increasing production of acetate and lactate metabolites. These metabolites regulate appetite, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation systemically. Most remarkably, transplanting microbiota from IF-treated subjects effectively improved metabolic dysfunctions linked to obesity. This proves that fasting-induced microbiome changes are responsible for metabolic benefits, not just calorie restriction. One study demonstrated that IF improves BMI and reduces triglycerides and low-density lipoprotein levels through gut microbiome alterations. IF also improved blood lipid profile, increasing high-density lipoprotein while decreasing total cholesterol, triglycerides, and low and very low-density lipoprotein levels. The inflammation reset. Chronic inflammation stems from gut dysbiosis and intestinal permeability. Fasting addresses both root causes simultaneously. Studies show fasting reduces body weight and improves blood lipid profiles while decreasing C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker. This anti-inflammatory effect results from microbiome restructuring that eliminates inflammatory bacterial species. Fasting induced profound changes in circulating immune populations, depleting pro-inflammatory Th1 cells and permanently enriching dendritic cells. These immune changes correlate directly with blood pressure improvements and metabolic health restoration. The persistent elimination of Enterobacteriaceae, especially E. coli, explains much of fasting's anti-inflammatory effects. These bacteria produce lipopolysaccharides that trigger systemic inflammation when they leak through compromised gut barriers. By eliminating them, fasting removes a primary source of metabolic endotoxemia. Significant correlations emerged between circulating immune cells and 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure, proving that fasting's cardiovascular benefits operate through gut immune metabolic pathways. The gender and baseline differences. Fascinatingly, fasting affects gut microbiomes differently based on gender and baseline health status. In female normal weight subjects, firmicutes increased from 60.47% to 63.81%. Proteobacteria increased from 4.17% to 5.5%, while bacteroidetes decreased from 22.57% to 17.41%. The effect on male volunteers was unique. In normal weight males, firmicutes decreased from 69.95% to 40.42%. Proteobacteria increased from 0.95% to 24.78%. Bacteroidetes increased from 8.87% to 19.81%. And actinobacteria decreased from 19.72% to 6.43%. In underweight males, firmicutes increased from 26.37% to 58.91%. Proteobacteria decreased from 73.28% to 1.56%. Bacteroidetes increased from 0.11% to 2.31%. And actinobacteria increased from 0.19% to 37.14%. These variations suggest fasting optimizes your microbiome toward your individual health needs rather than imposing a one-size-fits-all bacterial profile. Your body intelligently restructures its microbiome based on your baseline state. The fasting protocols research demonstrates benefits from various fasting protocols. A 5-day fast followed by modified DASH diet reduced systolic blood pressure, need for antihypertensive medication, and body mass index at 3 months post-intervention. Intermittent fasting protocols where you switch between periods of fasting and eating normally, show consistent microbiome benefits across multiple studies. Common approaches include 16 to 8, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, alternate day fasting, or 5 to 2, eating normally 5 days, restricting 2 days. Even Ramadan fasting, approximately 12 to 16 hours daily for 1 month, produces significant microbiome shifts, particularly increasing lactobacillus and bifidobacteria abundance. The key is consistency. Single fasting episodes produce temporary changes, but regular fasting protocols create sustained microbiome restructuring that persists months after intervention. The refeeding strategy. What you eat after fasting determines whether microbiome changes persist. The Nature study combined fasting with a modified DASH diet, emphasizing vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins. This approach maintained beneficial microbiome changes at 3 months. During refeeding, focus on prebiotic fibers that feed newly established beneficial bacteria. Diverse plant foods provide the substrates for continued SCFA production and metabolic optimization. Avoid immediately returning to processed foods, added sugars, and inflammatory fats. These rapidly reverse fasting-induced microbiome improvements and eliminate pathogenic bacteria that fasting worked to eliminate. The refeeding period is when you solidify gains. Pair fasting with long-term dietary improvements to maintain the restructured microbiome rather than reverting to dysbiosis. Fasting is the only intervention that fundamentally resets your gut microbiome. It increases diversity by restructuring bacterial communities. It eliminates pathogenic species like E. coli that persist despite probiotics. It triggers metabolic shifts in bacterial function that optimize your health for months. No supplement can replicate these effects. Probiotics add bacteria to a broken system. Fasting rebuilds the system itself. Start with 16 to 8 intermittent fasting, or consider periodic 3 to 5 day fasts under medical supervision. Pair fasting with prebiotic-rich refeeding to maintain restructured microbiomes. Your gut will reset in ways supplements never could. The solution isn't adding more, it's removing obstacles and letting your microbiome rebuild itself. Fasting is the reset button.